Good morning. My today's topic is excretory system in human. I am Dr. Preeti Mathur, Associate Professor, Department of Zoology, SPC Government College, Ajmer. Today we would like to discuss about excretory system in human. Now, in definition, I would like to speak that in complex organisms, including humans, there is a specialized system for excretion called human excretory system. We all obtain our nutrients from different sources, which are later digested and metabolized in our body. After metabolic reactions, the body starts to sort out useful and toxic substances in an individual. As we all know, the accumulation of the toxins may be harmful, and the body removes all the metabolic waste by the process called excretion. Different organisms follow different modes of excretion, such as kidney, lungs, skin, and eyes, depending on their habitat and food habit. For example, the aquatic animals excrete waste in the form of ammonia, while birds and insects they excrete in the form of uric acid, and humans excrete in the form of urea, which is the major excretory product of human. Now, what is the need for excretory system? It is to remove waste material from our body, some salts and nitrogenous compounds like urea and uric acid, and to regulate amount of water in our body, we need the excretory system. Different organisms follow different modes of excretion, such as kidney, lungs, skin, and eyes, depending on their habitat and food habit. For example, aquatic animals excrete waste in the form of ammonia. Birds and insects excrete mainly in the form of uric acid, and humans produce urea as the major excretory product. Now, in human excretory systems, there are some organs which are related to this system. There is a pair of kidney, a pair of ureters, a urinary bladder, and a urethra. Kidneys are bean-shaped structures. They are brown and they are bean-shaped structures, and they are located on both the sides of the backbone in the lower abdominal portion, and they are protected by ribs, muscles of the back. Each human adult kidney has length of 10 to 12 centimeters and a width of 5 to 7 centimeters, and it weighs around 120 to 170 grams. The kidneys have an inner concave structure at the center. There is a notch called hilum through which the blood vessels and nerves enter the organ. Towards the inner surface of the hilum, there are funnel-shaped space called renal pelvis with projections called calyces. The capsule, it is outermost layer. In the structure, I would like to explain you. First of all, in the outer portion there is a capsule. Inside the kidney there are two zones. Outer zone is cortex and inner is called the medulla. The cortex extends in between the medullary pyramids as renal columns called columns of Burton. Now, the next part of the tubule is Henle's loop, which has an ascending and descending limb. The ascending loop continues as a distal convoluted tubule, and distal convoluted tubules of many nephrons open into collecting duct. The cortical region of the kidney comprises of Malpighian corpuscle, proximal convoluted tubule, and distal convoluted tubule, and then the region contains the lobe of Henle. And there are two types of nephrons, cortical and juxtamedullatory. Then ureters. A thin muscular tube called the ureter comes out of each kidney, extending from the renal pelvis. It carries urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder, it is a sac-like structure that sorts urine until micturition. Micturition is the expulsion of the urine from the body. The urine is carried to the bladder through the ureters. You can see from the diagram, it is clearly shown. Now, urethra. This tube arises from the urinary bladder and helps to expel urine out of the body. Now, excretion is a process where all the metabolic waste are removed from the body. Excretion in humans is carried through different parts and in a series of processes. Blood contains both useful and harmful substances. Hence, we have kidneys which separate useful substances by reabsorption and toxic substances by producing urine. Kidney has a structural filtration unit called nephron, where the blood is filtered. Each kidney contains 1 million nephrons. Capillaries of kidneys filter the blood, and the essential substances like glucose, amino acids, salts, and the required amount of water are reabsorbed. Meanwhile, the pure blood circulates back to other parts. Excess water and nitrogenous waste in humans are converted to urine. So urine thus produces pass to the urinary bladder via the ureters. The urinary bladder is under the control of the central nervous system. The brain signals the urinary bladder to contract, and through the urinary openings called urethra, we excrete the urine out of the body. The mechanism of excretion in the process of excretion in humans take place in the following steps. First is urine formation. The urine is formed in the nephrons and involves the following steps: glomerular filtration, then second is tubular reabsorption, and third is secretion. Glomerular filtration, it is the primary step in the urine formation. In this process, the excess fluid and the waste products from the kidney are filtered out of the blood into the urine collection tubules of the kidney and eliminated out of the body. Thus, the amount of filtrate produced by the kidneys every minute is known as glomerular filtration rate. Tubular reabsorption. Firstly, it is the absorption of ions and molecules such as sodium ions, glucose, amino acids, water, etc. Second, water involves passive absorption, while glucose and sodium ions are absorbed by an active process. Secretion. Potassium ions, hydrogen ions, and ammonia are secreted out to maintain the equilibrium between the body fluids. Now, the functions of the various tubules involved in the process. First is glomerulus filters the blood, proximal convoluted tubules, then the descending loop of Henle, ascending loop of Henle, distal tubule, and collecting ducts. Now, micturition. I would like to explain you micturition. It is a very common term, and the urinary bladder is stretched and gets filled with urine formed in the nephrons. The receptors present on the walls of the urinary bladder send signals to the central nervous system, thereby allowing the relaxation of sphincter muscles to release urine. This is known as micturition. Now, there are some key points which I have shown in my slide. First is human excretory system includes organs that facilitate the removal of nitrogenous waste from the body. Second, the main excretory organs include kidney, ureter, urinary bladder, and urethra. Kidneys filter the blood and urine is the filtrate obtained. Urine passes to the urinary bladder via ureter and is expelled out of the body. This is known as micturition. Again, I have repeated. So, finally, kidneys also regulate the osmotic pressure of a mammal's blood through excessive purification and filtration. This is known as osmoregulation, which is a very important term. It is generally asked. So you can see the frequently asked questions which I have written in my slide. You can go through them, and whenever you want, you can even talk to me on phone. You can even mail me, and you can go through these questions. I would like to end, and I would like to thank you. And so finally, stay healthy, stay at home, keep distance, and stay safe. Jai Hind. For queries and doubts, feel free to shoot a mail at preetimathur23@yahoo.co.in.